So my name is Suzanne. I'm a PhD student in geography. I'm an international student from Singapore, but I grew up in the UK. And the Quality Money project that I'm currently in the progress of working on is on how can departments support graduate student mental health, and specifically, how can my department support my graduate student mental health, or rather for all graduate students. And there is a little bit of a story behind that that I wanted to share quite quickly. And I mentioned that I am an international student. So my first year here, I had never been to Calgary, never stayed in Canada. My first year here was really, really tough. And I don't come from a culture where we actually talk about mental health. So I didn't even know how to ask for help. Because I had to learn the hard way how to take care of my mental health, I became really passionate about trying to support other students so that they don't make the same mistakes that I did, that they are supported. So I became really passionate about mental health. I took every training course that Student Wellness Services offered, like Community Helpers, Inquiring Mind. They also now have an Upstanders program, which I've completed. I also volunteered in the GSA Mental Health and Wellness Subcommittee. And it was really through all these that I got to know a lot of UCalgary network in this space. So people, campus mental health strategy, the student wellness services, and also the student conduct office. So develop relationships, and we actually, as part of that, because I got to know them so well, and they were actually really cool people, we actually developed and organized joint student events from that. So this Quality Money project actually came from my conversations with all these three groups. And because I wanted to do something in my department, I also started speaking to my graduate program director, and this is actually his idea. He was saying to me that really, if we wanted to do something about grad student mental health at the department level, we need to first understand what challenges grad students are going through, especially for geography. We are kind of very diverse. Half of our grad students are international students. A lot of us are coming from both arts and also science backgrounds. So there isn't like one profile of a geography student. So we thought that it would be wonderful to have a project where we could actually hear from students, talk with students to understand what are their pain points when it comes to mental health, and how can the departmental level support of mental health be provided in both a meaningful but also multicultural way, because different cultures will approach mental health very differently. So what are the diversity of mental health interventions? You know, for grad students, it's not like you have to be a mental health professional to support us. I think that's what a lot of people think. I have to be certified, I have to be a professional, but it's really about, you know, students supporting students, faculty supporting students, doing what they can, being understanding, listening. So this project is really carried out by grad students for grad students. And we want to understand what are the stresses that students are going through, academic workload, funding challenges, confusions around extensions, for example, for PhD students, and then also connect the department with this. So bring faculty into the conversation. So it's not just one-sided students talking among students, it's students and faculty talking together, and then also understanding what are the ways that the department actually can do. And it's not about transferring responsibility either, because we recognize that there's only so much the department can do, but within that context, how can we all work together? The process of applying and receiving the quality money was, for me, it was extremely straightforward. I super appreciated the support that GSA Governance, Crystal and Tao, you know, any questions I had, any clarifications, you know, you were so quick to respond and so helpful. I think, for example, Crystal, you referred me to GSA Labor Relations to have a very helpful conversation around how would this project actually hire grad students, because I had never worked in anything apart from a TA. So this funding, this project that we're actually doing now actually hires 2 grad students on a part-time basis. So I didn't know which contracts GSA would suggest. So talking with Kira at Labor Relations was amazingly helpful for me to understand that as well. And then after it was actually approved, we had to make changes to it because of some other administrative delays. And then again, I found that the GSA governance team was super supportive and super flexible and very helpful, very much with the perspective of grad students. How can we help you make this project a success? So I was very appreciative of that process and also that perspective. I didn't feel like I was fighting against anybody. I didn't feel like it was something I had to prove myself. I felt like we were all on the same team. So that was really wonderful. So I can already tell you now that we are still partway through it. We haven't completed it. So we got the funding earlier this year, but there is absolutely no way that we can even have the ambition of doing a project like this without quality money. So we really wanted this project to be by grad students for grad students. And it's almost like a labor of love. So a lot of grad students, I feel, when they feel passionately about these things, they tend to volunteer all their hours. And a lot of our hours doing this project are voluntary. But the quality money, I feel, makes it much more sustainable because at least part of our hours are actually funded by quality money. So instead of trying to squeeze in some spare time here and there to try to, how do we support our peers in our department? I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not a mental health student. I'm a geography student, but I'm best placed to understand how to support my geography peers. So something like this actually allows me to take more time to talk to mental health professionals like Campus Mental Health Strategy, like Student Wellness, who are also part of this project, and they are amazingly supportive of something like this. So it helps me both in my own personal and professional development, but it also makes doing something like this a lot more sustainable because a majority of the hours that we spend doing this, we can actually fund, which means that I don't have to, do a whole bunch of other TA-ships, etc., just to make the financial numbers work for me as a grad student. The Quality Money project in total actually funds about 2/3 of a full TA equivalent. So it's a Gantt contract. So it's 140 hours across 2 grad students, part-time across two to 3 terms. So again, I feel like this benefits grad students so much more because we are able to take the time to learn, take the time to talk to other students and demonstrate to department that this is actually something that we take quite seriously. The impact that myself and the other grad students who are working on this, as well as our project partners, so Student Wellness, Campus Mental Health Strategy, what kind of impact are we looking for in this project? So I can already say that even though we are partway through it, I already feel so much the impact just by even having conversations in our department. So we've had public jam boards, we had a mini public workshop, and it was students and faculty that were engaged. So even creating spaces for mental health conversations has already helped a lot of grad students and faculty see that actually these are problems, which they didn't know before. And also we've heard reports of faculty members reaching out to, for example, our department GSA to say, I didn't realize this was, students felt this way. How can we help? I feel like this has really elevated the understanding of mental health priority that grad students give. It elevated it within the department level. So I'm very grateful for this. In terms of impact, this work has also helped us create a new position within our department GSA. So we actually now have a vice president of VP mental health, which is fantastic. I don't think any other department has this. But because of all these conversations, we decided to speak to the larger student body, and everyone was very sort of keen to see this position created. So now we have a dedicated person on the GSA executive looking at mental health, and this is in perpetuity, so it's not just for the project, it's forever, hopefully. And that, again, we see this as already concrete impact of our project. The deliverable for this is really a report of practical recommendations, so not just all the conversations we are creating during the course of this project, but there's going to be a final report that we will share with everybody and validate with our department and our faculty. And the idea is to hopefully this report will inspire other grad students in other departments to do their own projects like this and to start that conversation in their department. Are two things I would recommend. The first thing is that think about project partners. So if this is a passion project that you have, who within the potentially UCalgary sort of space, or even the community, who potentially could support you in terms of providing guidance or experience or sharing mentorship for you in the course of this project? Who are the ones that could actually write letters of support for you to say, I have worked with you on other projects before, and this is an extension of something that you're passionate about. Can you demonstrate that you have done similar things in the past, not exactly the same at all, but in the lead up to this, in this, and demonstrating your interest? So who are the other partners that could potentially support you? They can be passive partners, like for us, student wellness and campus mental health strategy. They came in and advised us. We reached out to them for advice, but they're not actually doing the work. We are doing the work, but they are kind of our safety net as well. So that's the first thing. Who are the project partners that you can bring on board, that you can talk with, and probably brainstorm your quality money application with, which is what we did with our project partners. The second thing is really reach out to the GSA, like ask any questions, because I didn't know what quality money could be used for. Like I had all these ideas and I didn't know what would be allowable uses. So when I reached out to the GSA, they were super kind in terms of like giving me lots of examples, telling me that this is actually really great idea. It's very encouraging for me as well to see that it's possible. And once you do one quality money project, I feel like that gives you a lot more confidence to do more. So also, if you have friends who have done it before, reach out to them. The last thing that I would say is that in terms of the reporting, I found that the reporting was also not strenuous. Like, for sure, we need to make sure that our finances are in order. But the first time I did a quality money project, I was really nervous because I didn't know much about budgeting and accounting. But I actually found the reporting process very helpful, very supportive. I didn't find it super stressful at all. So if anything, the final reporting impact report that I generated for the GSA, that actually is a fantastic recap for me to remember all the great stuff that I did. So it helps in your resume too, if you need to go back and remember, but I didn't find that strenuous too. So if people are a bit nervous about that, feel free to reach out to the GSA, I would suggest, or to people who have done quality money projects before. One last thing that I would like to share with any students who have ideas is that don't be afraid to talk to GSA or talk to people about your ideas. I've actually encouraged a lot of my geography friends to apply for for quality money, and a lot of times they don't realize that it's possible. They think that this is something that no one would ever fund, but as long as you are benefiting grad students, that's professional and personal development for yourself as well as other grad students, then I would definitely encourage conversation with the GSA on, have there been other projects similar to this that have been done before? Because quality money has been going on for quite some time. And you might be the first person in your department to do it, like we are the first in our department to do something like this. But we hope that a lot of other departments will do similar projects in the future.